Hey everybody, welcome back or welcome to my channel. I'm a psychic medium. My name is Susan Lynn. I predict politics as well as some other things. And because we're going to be talking about politics today, I want you to take a deep breath. Let's just take a deep breath and blow it out. And let's just find a place where we're grounded, where we can be sensible, where we can listen with our ears to the messages, the ears that are not what you want to hear, but potentials about what can happen, because this is about change, you guys. Obviously, we've never been here before, right? We've never been here before. Everybody when it says this is going to be just like in AZI, Germany, but it's not, because lightning doesn't strike in the same place two times. It's going to have maybe some energy of that in many ways, but it will manifest differently. And that's why it's important for you to keep your head screwed on straight. That's why it's important for you to ground yourself, because how you get through this is basically how you're going to end up on the other side of it. So if you can step back from the energy and take some deep breaths and empower yourself in whatever way that is, you're going to come out the other side of this empowered. If you get run over by this freight train and live in fear and panic for the next 6 months, you're going to come out of this with a diagnosis or with more health issues or with potentially having lost some income or lost opportunities. Okay, so if you bet on panic, if you bet on fear, you will get fear. You're ordering it. I'm not telling you that I am not fearful. I'm not telling you I'm not panicked, because I am. The Susan part of this is panicked. This is bullshit. This is stupid crazy. I get it. I totally get it. But that's like saying you're on the Titanic and you're, instead of like trying to get yourself to a lifeboat, you're basically saying, this is stupid. This is stupid. You shouldn't have driven the boat into the iceberg. What's wrong with you? What are you, a dumb person? Okay, right. Get all your anger out, scream at people. Meanwhile, me and a lot of people that I influence are going to be helping people get on lifeboats, and we're going to get on the lifeboat and we're going to be okay. The people who are screaming and shouting and in panic and go to their room and hide are the ones that aren't going to do so well. So let's not be those people. Let's be smart. Let's get through this in one piece. And the guides, and if you're wondering, I'm channeling this. Yes, 40% Susan. Sometimes the 40% Susan comes out and she's hella spicy, and that's the way it is. But 60% of this is not me. Okay. And the guides actually told me, and I live in this, you guys. I don't get up here and preach at you guys. I'm freaking living this shit. I'm under the bed just as much as you are. And then my spirit guides drag me out and they're like, Susan, you're supposed to be working on this thing, this class, this event. Even worse than that, they're like, why don't you add speaker presentations to your membership? Why don't you do more? I'm like, I don't want to do more. I want to hide. I want to flee. Please let me go to another country. No, you know what they say? Then they said, why don't you add this cool thing to your membership where it's 5-minute challenge, where every day you do a 5-minute challenge? I'm like, do you think I've got the bandwidth to do something else every day? Like literally, you guys, literally, my guides are like, level up, Susan, level up. Don't hide. Don't be scared. Stand in your personal power and do the thing you freaking came here to do on this planet, which was help people. You're not helping people if you're curled in a ball in a fetal position eating chocolate. Eat the chocolate at your computer station. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm doing a class, Awaken Your Soul's Destiny, $37, coming up in 2 weeks. Awaken Your Soul's Destiny. Doesn't that sound like something that could help you? $37. It's not $137. It's not $537. It's $37. I'm teaching it with Afefe Tyehimba, who's an amazing, amazing spiritual soul. You can find her on Touched by Tarot here on YouTube. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't care if you take my class or not. I'm just saying, do something for you. Take a quilting class, take a knitting class, take a Take a Zumba class. Volunteer is always good. Don't spend this time under your bed waiting for the thing to happen. Like people are like, the thing that I'm worried most about is when is it going to happen? Well, I would tell you it's happening every minute of every day, 24 hours a day. They are making changes every minute, every day. And it's like grains of sand going through an hourglass. That's the definition, I think, of crazy making, right? And there's nothing you can do about it. If you've called your reps, your senator, if you've sent love and light into the universe, you're tapped out. Like the next things you can do really are for you. And if you improve you, you improve your energy, which then improves the energy around you, which then it kind of inspires them to improve the energy around them. And that's a hell of a way to make a change. The change doesn't happen from you screaming at, some Democrats to do something. I've done it. I know. I've done it. I continue to do it. But that's the end result. You can't do anything more. After you've done that, you're done. You're tapped out. It's time to work on you. Okay. Now, I'm not kidding you when I say that what I'm about to tell you is heavy and shocking. So if you don't want that, I don't blame you. Click me off. I feel like it's helpful in the sense that forewarned is forearmed. Okay. I only come on here when I think I can help you. I don't come on here, as you can tell, to clickbait you. I'm not on every day. I'm barely on here because I don't want to add to the fear. I want to add to the constructive energy. This is how you can move through this. This is how you can help yourself. Okay. This is why I have a whole series called Wisdom on Wednesdays that's free. If you don't want to take my class or anybody else's class, go to the wow videos on my playlist and just watch them. And I challenge you to watch them and come back and tell me you're not better. You're not a better person. The spirit guides have done this challenge many times to tens of thousands of people. And no one has ever come back and said, I watched it and I'm a worse person. No one. So it's free. Do it. Take care of yourself. Okay, now let me talk about this crazy thing that we're in. First of all, I would tell you guys that I think by the end of the summer, there's a big change. And I'll just tell you the good stuff first. It's unbelievable. And maybe it doesn't happen, but this is what I got this morning. Now, leading up to the end of the summer is hell on earth. Okay, I'm just going to tell you. But those things that they do that are so egregious wake up the people, and then the people are like, what? And then they get busy, and then everybody, the Democrats and Republicans, realize we're about to have a full-on civil war, and we better do something. We better get rid of this administration. Okay, so everybody finds their spine. They go in the closet, they dig around, it's under the holiday ornaments or the whatever from 5 years ago. They find their spine, they install it, and then they get busy. Okay, so here's the thing that's interesting is that there could be some kind of coalition government in the United States. Now, for this to happen, we would have to be in a constitutional crisis. It would also mean that potentially the military would have to get involved. It really depends. This isn't set in stone, right? Somehow you have to get rid of 45 through impeachment. Then you have to get rid of Vance through impeachment. And I think you can, because I think by August, it's going to be very clear that they are a true and clear and present danger, which is an actual thing you can look up in the laws. So once that is established, they are impeached. Here's the thing. I don't see Johnson, I don't see the Speaker of the House becoming the president, because we basically realize that we're under attack from the inside out, that we're at war. We didn't realize it, but we are at war. And therefore, remember how the spirit guides kept saying the War Powers Act? Remember they kept saying that last year. Well, here we are, right? I think the Congress is going to realize we are truly at war, and we're going to say we're at war, and therefore, and here's where it gets sticky and spicy. Therefore, who we're at war with might be Russia. And therefore, Tulsi Gabbard is now a traitor. Or therefore, 45 and Vance and Hegseth, I mean, all these people could overnight find themselves on the wrong side of the United States. That is incredible. That is an incredible situation. But that is what I believe is going to happen. I do not see them being in power at the end of the year. Now, I want you to understand the level of force, the level of chaos, the level of confusion that has to happen for a country like the United States of America to basically remove an administration. We're not talking about Nixon here. We're talking about removing an administration. I want you to think about that, because that is an incredibly tumultuous thing. And we can't get there without going through these changes. We have to go through the changes. We have to show Americans the truth about who these people are and what they want. Okay, we have to do it. So the weird thing is that I see Buttigieg, who, you know, the spirit guides, we did a video where we said the Democrats need to be showmen, right? Before Biden even was leaving the office, we did a video that says Democrats need to be showmen. I mean, this is America. We would rather have a show person. I mean, we elected Ronald Reagan because he was an actor. So, and the Democrats are just reluctant to do that for a lot of reasons. And now people, it's interesting how the energy kind of catches on, because it's not just me. I'm reading the energy. So sometimes everybody else reads the same energy. Okay. The energy is out there. And so now people started hashtagging Pete Buttigieg and saying, do a weekly show, do a daily show. This is what the spirit guides have been saying. The Democrats have to take the narrative back. There is no media. You cannot count on the media. There is no media. We could have something horrible happen in this country and none of us would ever know. None of us would ever know. So we need Pete Buttigieg, AOC, whoever, Jasmine Crockett, Moskovich, whoever, to get on YouTube and host a channel and just have a different host every single day. This is what the guide said. And now the energy is starting to pick up steam and people are hashtagging Pete Buttigieg. And now the last week, he has been very active on social media. For the last week, several times a day, he is active on social media. So, you know, there's this thing, I often wondered this and I never understood it. I still don't think I understand it, because I think we're playing by rules that no one else is playing by. But anyway, the rule is that once the president steps down and the new president takes over, the ex-president does not do anything in the media for 100 days. And the reason is it gives the new president a chance to, you know, like do their thing without having a pot-shotting, sour grapes person yelling at you, right? I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be. But if anybody wants to rewind their memory tapes back to when Biden won, 45 held rallies. He pot-shotted Biden for 4 years. But the Democrats are like, no, no, no. So they're playing an outdated playbook, okay? And they've got to get up with the times. But the good news is I see Pete Buttigieg doing this. Now, let's talk about this interim government, because it's going to be a constitutional crisis. And we know that the Democrats, and I don't blame them, but it is frustrating, will only follow the letter of the law and the letter of the Constitution, which is having a country, right? Like if your people in power are not going to follow the Constitution the way the Republicans don't follow it, if we started not following the Constitution, well, then we would have we would devolve into a lawless, chaotic civil war overnight. That's why the Democrats keep trying to stand on tradition. Well, tradition needs to go out the window. Maybe we do need to follow the laws and we need to follow the Constitution, but tradition needs to go out the window. So the problem here is how we get from we've got a despot and a real regime here that is not for truly our country. How do we get from that to this new government, this coalition or transition government? And when I ask the spirit guides, sometimes they say there's going to be a vote and sometimes they say there isn't. So I don't think this is nailed down yet. But what I do see the most energy around is a coalition government. And it's funny because I said this last year, and a lot of the same energy that I talked about last year is still here. The energy is here. The players are different. Okay. So last year I said, oh my God, I see this scenario where a Democrat chooses Liz Cheney as the vice president, right? And I was like, oh my God, that I could see the Democrats doing that to heal the country, to bring us together. And at the time, we were all like, well, they don't like Liz Cheney, so it's not going to get the Democrats anything. They're not helping anything because nobody likes Liz Cheney. Well, fast forward into the end of this year, to the end of 2025, to like around November, and Liz Cheney is probably going to be more of a hero to the Republicans than she was, because, well, I'm going to get into that in a minute. But so there's a real potential here that we have some kind of coalition government, the way, and I've said this in other readings, they're reminding me, and I'm just telling you the energy of it. It could be something that happens. It could be the flavor of it. It could be a slice of it, but it's the energy that's prevailing right now. Is everything is so broken that, and honestly, I think citizens don't even trust one side or the other. And so they kind of want a timeout. There's this sense of a timeout. I could also see a military government, a caretaker government, a timeout government, where we just say, and I saw this with, even with Kamala Harris winning, I saw her ruling over a divided country. The energy is, you will be divided. We don't care who's in office, Mickey Mouse, we don't care, but you will be divided. Why is that? Well, a lot of it is the astrology. It's because we're supposed to be, because this is our time to look at the swamp monster and decide whether we are really that swamp monster. Are we really that horrible of humans in the United States that we would allow DEI to be removed? Are we really? Is that who we are? Who are we? So 2025 is a year of identity crisis. It's identity crisis for me, for you, for our country. Now, it doesn't have to be a crisis, but change feels like a crisis. Most of us don't like chaos. Most of us don't like change. So all of a sudden in your own life, if you're like, I can't anymore, I'm so, my nervous system is so raw. I can't put up with this job. I can't put up with this person. I can't put up with my own self. Something has to give. That's when change happens. That's when you say, I'm going to get therapy. I'm going to work out. I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to change my habits. I'm going to get rid of this person. I mean, it's pretty black and white in a sense. Even though most things are not black and white, this is a situation where something has to go. We can no longer tolerate it. And that's how we get to August with this regime that is in office. We can no longer tolerate it. Something has to change. But the way the Constitution is written, well, yeah, the president, yeah, the vice president, and then, yeah, the speaker, and then, there's lots of, but I think we go through all those and we don't have anybody. We actually exhaust the remedies provided by the Constitution. And then we are in a constitutional crisis. And because that, my friends, we cannot be so out of control in this country. because it hurt, basically because it hurts the robber barons. I mean, the reason is because it hurts profitability, and then they're like, no, 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 we got to fix this, right? We can't be having this. So then they put the pressure on the Republicans to get with the Democrats, and everybody gets together. And what I see is the Republicans saying, how much do I have to pay you? Meaning, I'm willing to pay taxes. I'm willing to go this a little bit more towards you. I'm not saying liberal, but I'm willing to go more towards you. What is it going to cost me? Let's make a deal. That's what I hear. So let's make a deal, because we realize, we did the experiment. We realized that this despot thing isn't actually going to work for us. And we're sorry. And now we want to fix it back. We don't care if you're in office. Let's make a deal. And then that's when the Democrats are like, oh, let's do a coalition. Let's all hold hands and sing kumbaya, because we haven't learned our lesson yet. But anyway, that's okay. That's okay. It's okay. Having a coalition government would be better than what we have now and what we're about to get in a month or two. So in that way, I feel like we have a pause. We have a time where we can breathe. We still don't understand what happened to us. We still don't understand. We're in shock. They just briefly showed me when a tornado hits your house and you're in the room that it didn't hit. You know what I mean? And you open the door and there's sky, and the rest of your house is gone, and you're like, you can't square the reality. That's where we're going to be. We're going to be in this place where we're shell shocked, where we can't believe what just happened. And for that reason, we're not going to be making any decisions about voting. And I would say, from my own personal experience, having been through several natural disasters, that I thought that, and I'm a very grounded, like self-assured kind of person, and I thought that I was making decisions that were good and grounded and right. And 6 months later, I looked back and I said, I had no business. I had no business signing my name on a restaurant ticket, much less anything. Like, you don't know. When you're in a state of shock and you're just in survival mode, you you have no idea what you're doing. And that's what America's going to be like. America's going to be in survival mode, shock. And they're not going to be capable of really deciding what they really want. You would think that you would, but we're not going to. So I feel like this next couple of years is sort of like, it's not, it's, again, it's this middle. It's just like holding the line. It's not dictatorship, but it's also not socialism, and it's also not what we had at Biden, but it's not bad. It's just kind of like muddling through, the guides are saying. Things are not bad, things are not good, but things are stable. And for that, we're grateful. Okay? It's not the dictatorship. It's not that. It's just like a low grade fever for a while, because we're unplugged. We think we know, we think we're with it, but we really don't. And then we start to wake up, around, and maybe not, maybe the next election, the 28 election, we wake up a little bit in 26. We wake up more in 28, and we wake up more in 32. It's really like degrees of awareness that we allow ourselves to understand. That's why I started off the video saying, use your ears that don't want to hear what you want to hear. That is never what you want. You want to hear what you don't want to hear, and then decide if that's true or not. If you just want yes people around you all the time, you're never going to hear the truth. You're never going to grow. Okay. Now let me talk about. Was there anyone want to talk about? They wanted to talk about. Oh, well, okay. So let's say if there is a coalition government or a military government, I feel like we could It's not written. It's just not written, you guys. I feel like we could have a presidential election. Seriously, it all depends. Again, we shouldn't be making these decisions, but we want normalcy so badly that it's sort of like when you get a divorce and you want to get remarried immediately because the only thing you know is marriage, and to you that's normal. So you get in the rebound relationship, which is crap. And we don't want to be in a rebound relationship with another president, but we might. We might. And I don't think it'll be anything as bad as 45, but it probably won't be where we're going because we cannot synthesize, we cannot absorb, understand, and come to some conclusion about things, okay, at this time. I don't know how that gets worked out. Okay, so there's this thing called the SAVE Act, SAVE. I have not read it. I don't know anything about it other than one thing, which is allegedly, because I haven't read this, it takes away the right of married women to vote. Let's talk about that. It takes away the rights of married women to vote. Take a deep breath. When I asked my spirit guides last night, they said it would pass. And I think there's probably a 90% chance that it'll pass. So 10% that it doesn't. Again, nothing is written in stone. There might be a few Republicans that find their spine under the bed, covered in dust, and install it. And nothing is written in stone, but forewarned is forearmed. And I want to warn you about this so you don't freak the hell out, because it's not going to help you to freak the hell out. This is not your fight. This is not my fight. We already know how bad it is. We already know these people are monsters. It's not us. This isn't about waking us up. We're awake. Our eyes are bleached out from seeing what we've been seeing. Okay. This is why it's not about you. None of this is about you or me. It's about them. So let's say it passes, and I don't know what else is in that bill. There's no telling. But let's say it passes even with the component of married women can't vote. Let's just say that. I mean, seriously, I'm talking to you like a friend. What do you think is going to happen if they pass a bill that nobody's paying any attention to? And then the next day, and the next week, and the next month, women start finding out that are married that they can't vote. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're going to be like, oh, well, I never voted anyway. I mean, that's stupid. Voting is stupid. I don't care. Do you really think that's what they're going to do? I think men are going to be in danger, because I think that if you've never voted in your whole life, all of a sudden you're going to want to vote. Because when you take away something from someone, all of a sudden you want it, and you want it more than anything. So yeah, things like this that they're doing are literally they're literally shocks to the system of the people that need to wake up. So guess what? The levels keep rising, right? Then they take away abortion, and that's another level. Women are dying in parking lots. Now they're taking away DEI. So now women and anybody who's not white are losing their jobs. They're raising the bar to see how high they can get the heat before we jump out of the pot. And you know what? Taking away women's right to vote, for some reason, might just be it. You know, at least it is the beginning of the fight, the beginning of the resistance. And maybe it's not the thing, but maybe it's the beginning of the straw that broke the camel's back. How can a straw break a camel's back? This is what we've been saying, right? There's going to be one little thing that they're going to go too far, and people are going to be like, that's the thing? That's the thing that people couldn't take. It may not be women not being able to vote, married women not being able to vote. It might be something else, but it's coming because we're not these people. You know, and I don't know, I think 45 is getting ready to start attacking sports teams because I keep getting like today, they kept saying, what would happen? And they said this even before the Super Bowl. What would happen if the government said, yeah, this team in San Francisco or this team in Dallas or this team in Washington, DC or wherever, who cares? Yeah, they broke some rules or something and we're going to take their license. We're not going to let them do their thing. We're going to fine them. That they got to pay us $50 million now. You want to wake up somebody? Wake up some sports fans. Wake up some sports fans that are men. Take away their stuff. Add those two things together. Add taking away the right to vote to women and add attacking men's sports. And if you think that those people are going to roll over, you're wrong. So what's happening right now is that they're attacking government jobs. Now, my heart goes out to you, right? My heart goes out to you. As you might know, my dad was a union person. I'm a union person, and I'm a 100%, 1,000% Democrat. So my heart goes out to you. But let me explain it. Since Reagan, government has been bad. Government has been evil. Government has been the reason that you are horrible, that you can't do anything because the government gave your money away to those DEI people, right? Okay, so they're taking away government jobs. These MAGAs are like, yeah, yeah. And then when they go to the VA and there's no one to wait on them, they're going to be like, what happened? When they don't get HUD, when they don't get housing assistance, they're going to be like, what happened? When they don't get Medicaid, they're going to be like, what happened? But that is nothing. I hate to tell you. I'm telling you right now, my heart goes out to you. I know government workers are going through hell, and I'm sorry, but it's not enough to wake people up because the MAGAs think it's good. Even when they start having to pay $400 for insulin, even when they lose their housing benefits, even when they can't go to the VA, all those things are going to start to really irritate them, just really irritate them. But it's not enough to flip them over. Who has to be flipped over is middle America. And that's women and men who might be Republican, who might be independents, or who might just not give a damn. Whenever their special interest or their special thing is attacked, that's when you're going to have mayhem. And perhaps this is what drives the whole removal of the administration, because what I see is people, I mean, I see mayhem, you guys. I see mayhem. I see people attacking Teslas. I just want to say the guides told you last year to sell your Tesla. You don't know how many minutes of videos I edited out because they had lots of things to say about people who own Teslas and how they were going to really be in trouble. This was last year, and I know y'all love your Teslas. I'm telling you one more time. Sheryl Crow gave her Tesla away to PBS or NPR. Just saying. If you represent the thing that's causing the pain to these people, whatever the pain is, that could be driving a Tesla, that could be having a MAGA flag or a t-shirt or a red cap, or maybe even just being a white person. I don't know. You're going to get attacked verbally, physically. I don't know. It is the energy of civil war. It's what we've been trying to avoid, but it is what's in our astrology. I've talked so much about it on this channel, about our Chiron wound. I've talked so much about it. We have to face our wound. This country was founded on violence. And subterfuge and subjugation, slavery. It was founded on horrible, horrible energy. And now that energy has come all the way back around and it's right again, matching the same energetic birth point. And we have to look at it again. Are we that horrible people? Are we like 45? Are we NAZISs? Are we? What do you choose? And how crazy is it that America might wake up because they hurt their sports team instead of, I really should be protecting people who are more vulnerable. I stand with people who are more vulnerable. It might not be that. It might be that they got mad because somebody penalized the hockey league or something. This is what I mean when I say that at the end of the year, we're not really in the right place to understand the lesson, to create the new administration that would be our dream administration or our next level. We're not there because how we learn the lesson is so sort of personal. Like they just went too far when they decided to do this, and it's, you know, something like sports or something. That was it. We've had it with them. Never mind that kids aren't getting, lunches, they're not getting pre-K. Never mind that all across our nation, people that are not white are getting fired and treated horribly. Never mind all that. You shouldn't have done this thing over here. So we have a lot to learn. The thing that trips the trigger may not be what should have tripped the trigger, which belies the fact that we haven't learned the lesson, which means that the lesson will continue. But but the good news is that it won't continue in the 5-alarm fire way that it is now. Okay, so again, it goes back to that holding the line. Let's just give America a timeout. America will go through a period of timeout. It's what the guides are calling it is an uneasy alliance or an uneasy truce. The parties that have been harmed, non-white people, are still not thinking that anybody understood the lesson. And women are thinking, y'all kind of sort of fixed this, but you didn't really apologize. You don't really understand. It's like when somebody says, I'm sorry, and they don't mean it. They didn't learn the lesson. That's kind of where we are after we get rid of 45. Okay, so there's a time of just digestion, of just reawakening and becoming new again. And that's why it's so important, you guys, that you're around, that you're plugged in, that you're capable of operating at a high level, because we need those people like you and me to be active and to be able to say, okay, I want to participate in my local government. I want to, I was there. My eyes were open. I saw what you did. You're not just going to put it under the rug. I know who you are, and I'm going to hold you accountable. That's a very different energy than this last 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, 6 months has been too much for me. And I'm just not sticking my head out. I'm just not going to get involved in any way, shape, or form because I'm exhausted. I'm my adrenal, my service system, my nervous system is blown. I can't do it. Then you're not going to be helpful to anybody on the other side of this. So right now is the time. It's not your fight. It's not about you. It's not. You already learned the lesson. You got the whole lesson downloaded. You did the homework. Now you're over there bored waiting for everybody else to catch up. So remove yourself from that fracas energy. Remove yourself from it. It's not going to help you. So what you should do instead is pull back and work on you. Like they said in the very beginning of the video, find things to make you a better person. Find a new hobby, learn to meditate, work on your intuitive skills, volunteer, keep your little corner of the world better. Your little corner of the world. Go down to the food bank, go down to the library, go down to the school, whatever it is. Your little corner of the world. Just work on your little corner of the world. Because all those people out there, they have to freak out. They have to come awake. They have to battle each other. They have to. They have to work the energy out, and that's how the energy has to get worked out, is through fracas, is through action. But that's not how you and I have to do it. We're the medics. We come later. We need to save ourselves and be ready for when our time to walk out on the field, our time to walk out on the stage is there. Okay. I'm going to do another video right after this where I'm going to answer more of your questions. But that's what I have right now. I would just say the last thing is the guides are showing me the United States of America is made of a bunch of states. We are a republic. It's not like Iran. It's not even like Saudi Arabia. It's not even like Russia. That's all one contiguous kind of energy. Even in places like Saudi Arabia, where maybe there's tribal energies or religious separation, we actually have independence. Our states are independent. That's why we're a republic. You can't take over America by taking over the internal workings of the government. You can make our lives hell. You can make us mad as hell, but you can't take us over, because each state has their own National Guard and each state has their own economy, some better than others. So this is ugly. It's ugly and it's dangerous, but they can't do it this way. They almost did it. They got close because of the MAGAs, because they deception, they deceived and cult put these people on a cult, and that was almost enough. But you know what kept us from falling to that is our diversity. The fact that we do have non-white people, and a lot of them, and they're here working, being a part of our community, voting, and they're not falling for this shite. So you're not going to take us over because of our diversity. That's the thing that makes us who we are, and it's the thing that makes us unbeatable. That's why they're trying to take it away. That's why they're trying to diminish and even demonize DEI. They know that's the power. They know that's where the power is. The power of our country is diversity. Okay? We're going to be okay. It's going to hurt like hell. It's going to look crazy. It's going to look crazy. But in the end, we're going to land the plane. Okay? We really are going to land the plane. It's going to be scary. That's why I'm telling you guys, check out. Check out. It's not supposed to be for you. You're already woke. You can't get any more woke. It's for all those other people that are asleep. Okay? Take really good care of yourself. Okay? If you're interested in my class, which is Awakening Your Soul's Destiny, please look in the description below. If you're interested in my membership, where I have over 1,000 people just like you, the safe place where you can talk. I have a political side. I have a spiritual side. It's all included. I've added guest presentation speakers that are going to be doing hour-long guest speakerships or lectures almost every week to 7-10 days. And I'm there 4 to 5 hours actually working with you. So if that sounds like something that you would find fun, interesting, and supportive, please check it out. It's $12 a month. Sign up for the monthly option. That way, if your finances change, you can just cancel. It's very easy to cancel. Don't sign up for the year. Sign up for the monthly. Things might change. Okay? Take really, really good care of yourself. I'm in this with you. We're in this together, and we're going to get through it together. Okay? I'll talk to you soon. For entertainment purposes only,